The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 early summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my good friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk with the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and you can see us on YouTube, which means you can see Steve and really get your day off to a good start, huh?
That works.
That's nice.
How's your basement,
Green
Tom?
machine. It's okay.
I just thought I would just dive right in the deep end.
That was a bit of a challenge because what would happen was all the storm drains got filled with rain and clogged, and this time of year
that happened. That used to happen at Mom and Dad's house.
Yeah.
That was a common, and the town comes and they plunge the thing in.
Right,
I
will say this about Aqua. They came within 45 minutes of me.
Is
calling.
it Aqua? I thought Aqua was clean. I thought Aqua was clean water.
Yeah, no, Onondaga County has to come. And what they did was they actually did the work, then knocked on the door. And I came up and I said, well, do you need to go downstairs? He goes, no, it's all set. I said, what's all set? He said, well, we snaked it from the front yard to the sewer drain, and that made everything in the house drain properly.
So one day out of 365, you got your tax money back. A little bit, sort of, kind of. So that was okay, right?
That was good. And they were very polite, and that worked. So I cleaned up the puddles. I went over to Lowe's and got some of that absorbent stuff. So after, letting it air out for a little bit, and then put the absorbent squeezy stuff, and it was all done.
It's just annoying.
It's annoying. We lost a good friend. Yeah.
Who's that?
11 rolls of paper towel. Gone. And that's expensive these days.
Could have been worse. It could have been toilet paper towel.
Right. That's even worse. And we got a great show all packed up for you, folks. We hope you'll stick around for the entire couple of hours. Matt Tiska joins us up first. He's the owner of the Artisan Tattoo. Sheila Ostrom's going to stop by. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. And then Emerson Shenandoah, director of the Ska-nonh Center, which used to be something among the Iroquois over there. The big fort.
Among the Iroquois. Don't call it the French fort, because that was where it gets.
That was
way back.
Yeah. John Kupperman will stop by. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. Sabrina Rivette is the director of nursing at St. Camillus Skilled Nursing Short-Term Rehab. And then Lou Burke, the owner of Admiral Canvas Company. Kate Flannery is the executive director of the upstate New York chapters of the Alzheimer's Association. She'll have a nice conversation with us, and then we'll wrap things up with Jim Costello, regional manager of Bert's Bikes, which is probably where I'm going to end up, in a bike instead of a real man's machine.
I'm just picturing you on a 10-speed with a wedgie. I'm just picturing this thing.
I'm going to get one of them electric ones that go at least 60 miles an hour.
There you go.
All right. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce Matt Tiska, who is owner of the Artisan Tattoo. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, Tom. How you doing this morning? Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, thanks for being here, buddy. Matt is my cousin-in-law.
Okay.
Is there such a thing?
Turns out.
Cousin-in-law? Yeah. That's so.
If not, we can be that.
Yeah. And I was very impressed. I met Matt, I don't know, it's got to be 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's been a while now. And, I was really impressed when I walked into your place the first time and saw how clean and how professional and what an artist you are. So can you give us your background? Tell us how you started and how you went into this.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. Nice words there, Tom. But yeah, I got, everyone asks how you get started and something like this, because it is a obscure
niche,
kind of a thing.
Yeah, kind of a niche thing.
But I was in college for education, for art education. So I've always been an artist and had an art background.
Okay, gotcha.
And of course I decided to get my shoulder blade tattooed when I was 18 and it was my first name, Matthew, and it was completely ridiculous.
Right.
But it piqued my interest. I was like, that was kind of cool, and I was in art school. So I went on eBay and I bought bought a tattoo set offline and started tattooing people out of my dorm room.
Oh my God.
Best $20 you ever spent?
Yeah. And I don't recommend doing that. But I don't know. I just wanted to try it out and see what it was all about. Yeah. And then it just kind of evolved from there. People kept asking me to do it. I wouldn't say I was exceptional from the start. I wasn't. But people wanted free, cheap tattoos when they were 18.
Sure.
So I owe them a lot of credit for getting to me where I am now. Right. I just kind of evolved, and then I was doing it, like I said, out of my dorm room, my mom's basement when I was visiting her, and all the places you're not supposed to until I realized, well, hey, if I'm going to keep doing this, I better, work at a shop.
Right. Where is the shop?
It's right in the village of Liverpool, right across from the Retreat restaurant.
Okay.
Right on First Street, right there on the water. It's a great location. Beautiful. It's wonderful. People, if they're waiting, they can walk down to the lake, have lunch over at the restaurant.
Aren't you near Nichols? Is Nichols across the street?
Nichols is just up a block from us.
Okay, up a block. Yeah.
Yep. So we're right in the heart of all the little bars and restaurants and a grocery store and all that right there.
Beautiful. Now, so did you ever have aspirations of being like a painter and selling paintings or, drawings or something?
I was more into teaching. I like to work with people.
Oh, you really? Okay.
Yeah. I really like to work with people and see people's potential and
that's wonderful.
You're a lot like Tom. Not at all. Not at all. Not a bit.
Yeah, I was always a painter, and I used to do oil painting all the time, but I just didn't have the patience to sit there. Oil paintings take weeks, you're going back and it takes a long time to dry, and I'm not a very patient man. You could ask my wife.
Well, when you're doing your tattoos, one of the things I noticed about your tattoo technique, if you will, or what you do compared to some others is the detail. What do you call that kind of a tattoo where he's got faces of like Chevy Chase, all sorts of.
Why would I want Chevy Chase?
From Christmas.
You'd be surprised with the things people get.
What do you call that?
But it's realism, hyper realism is what I do. I'm a replicator, so I can take a photo and replicate it on people's skin almost exactly. I don't really claim to be too much of an artist, yes. But I don't create a lot of images out of my head. I'm a replicator, and I can take a photo and make it look exactly
like
that.
Which is really what people are looking for, right? And people are, they're not going, hey, do whatever you want. They're saying, hey, I have an idea. Are you able to, this was my grandma and this was, where I lived and, and I like, motorcycles. How do we combine this? Is it that kind of a thing?
Yeah, to an extent, and I do a lot of memorial tattoos, portraits of passed away family members or pets, a lot of pets and animals and things, which I really enjoy tattooing. You get that expression and you can see the emotions in the eyes and things like that.
You got to get to the artisan.com, theartisan.com. And then now you have several other artists there too, right?
Yeah, there's 5 of us in the shop. Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's got a different flavor, so I do a lot of hyper realism. We have guys that do a lot of good color, guys that have a little bit more of their own art. They actually create and draw their own art.
Right.
So there's a little something for everybody. No one's stepping on each other's toes.
Do you create things over the top of scars?
Oh, we can.
So my wife wants to take my scar from my leg. I've got to say, and turn it into a fish because I fish all the time because it looks like the bones are already there.
Yeah. So you can do that. Some people like to turn them into zippers.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of cool.
But it depends on the scar. If it's a very big keloided scar, it's not going to work.
Well, Matt, we have to have you, Matt, back again. We could talk for a long time. The segments are kind of short. So thank you so much. We'll get people over to the Artisan Tattoo, theartisantattoo.com. And that's the best way to kind of, see what people's schedules are and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Matt, for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Sheila Ostrom. She's the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Don't go anywhere.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, folks, and thank you for joining us on this special weekend. You know why it's special? Because it's springtime.
It is. It is. It feels. I went to the market last week, and it was so crowded down at the regional market.
Yeah.
I drove through it. I was there at prime time.
What did you go for?
I went because I like to pick up the veggies and stuff, and I just like to be at the market and of course grab something to eat while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it was so packed. I didn't stay. They'll all come back a little later. It was so crowded, and I don't like
shoulder to shoulder all the way. Yeah.
I mean, I like a crowd, but I don't. It's just too much for me, and having to park and back up.
But you're so tall, you tower above everybody else.
Over everybody, you know.
It was Mother's Day flowers.
It was Mother's Day flowers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why it was so busy.
It was just, it was nuts. But I just love the market.
Good.
It's my happy place.
Well, it's a happy place just to be here on the local show with you.
You don't sound happy.
No. But Sheila's here, so I'm relatively happy. Okay. Sheila Ostrom is the owner of Senior Home Care and Alzheimer's Solutions. How are you?
Great. Wonderful.
That's a very nice bobble you have around your neck. What is that?
Thank you. It's stones.
Stones.
It's
really?
like handcrafted stones.
Wow. Very
Makes
nice.
good radio talking about things like that, Tom.
Yeah, it does. Well, it gets them on the...
Do you understand? I'm trying to lead people to the YouTube.
To the YouTube. Yes.
I just.
Yes.
But so
I just got back from Italy.
Oh,
so
did you really?
Yeah, I took a vacation.
Oh, that's nice. Boy, I wish I could do what you do. You had to sit on a plane, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. How long?
10 hours.
Ah! Oh my gosh. I just had shivers. How do you do that?
It's an overnight flight. You sleep.
Do you really?
You can do it.
Were the people like the Italian here? Were they loud and they yell at each other when they're really happy?
Were they like
is
me?
that an American Italian culture?
No, they can be very loud.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not all, but yeah, they're very expressive.
Did you learn any Italian?
No.
At all? None at
terrible.
all? No.
Terrible.
How long did you stay for?
We were there for 11 days.
Okay. Well, what was the highlight quickly? What was the best part of the trip?
The boat tour we took on Cinque Terre.
Okay. See, you knew how to say Cinque Terre.
Finally.
Was there fishing?
Is that in Venice?
So they fished.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay, I want to go already.
Yeah.
Did you go to Venice at all?
We did not.
Okay.
No, they really don't want people going to Venice right now.
Really? Why not? What's wrong?
Because it's just, it's basically sinking.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, they have put a lot of restrictions on tourism right now. It's just been over toured for so long. So
that's something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it was great. I'm revived, ready to go.
So what else is happening in the world of seniors?
Well, this is Older Americans Month, so there's been a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot more coming up. So I thought I would just, give some people some information of some activities that are going on out there.
So first of all, what constitutes an older American? Where's the age delineation?
Tell you, it really depends on your own persona.
Are you looking at older Americans right now with Tom and I?
We are.
Okay.
Older Americans are considered 55 and up, so we're all there.
We're all there. Yep. Yes. Okay.
And some of the things are geared for people a little older, a little younger. It just depends on the event. Like, for example, the Liverpool Library is doing a senior fair on May 24th, and it's open. You don't have to register. Just show up anytime between 1 and 3.
What's at a senior fair? That doesn't sound like something Tom or I would run to. Tell us why we should.
I would say maybe you wouldn't.
Okay.
Unless you were looking for help with, soon I'm going to have to be on Medicare. And if I am, how do I know how to do that?
Okay.
And, these different fairs will have people who can help you down that path of, how do I figure out what Medicare plan I need to be on? Some of these fairs also have places you can live. And I'm not talking about assisted living. I'm talking about, independent apartments that are more community-based. So you might have some of that.
Right.
So that's the nice thing about these fairs. There's a little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
And there'll be companies like me there at some of them. So that gears more towards the older.
Tell folks what you do in case they haven't heard you before.
Yes, in case you haven't heard before. Senior Home Care Solutions is a company that helps people in their homes. And we help people with dementia and people who don't, people with dementia and without dementia.
Right.
And we do a little bit of everything. Cooking, cleaning, housekeeping, companionship, engagement, transportation to doctor's appointments if you're a client, and different activities, things of that nature.
Gotcha. You might take them to one of these activities for the senior fair.
Yeah, or the Liverpool concerts in the park are starting to line up soon.
I love those.
They're wonderful.
Was talking about that.
Yeah, they're coming up soon. They start in May. And, go into those in the evening. They have them a couple times a week, and you can see the different
What other
things.
events outside of Liverpool? What else you got there?
So one of the big events coming up, you'll hear about later, which is the Alzheimer's conference, but she's coming in. The other one is the CMY Senior Housing and Information Fair. That's going to be on the 29th of May at the market.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. And it's going to be in the big F shed, which is all the way in the back. It's the nicest shed. We have music that will be playing. The Corvette Club is coming. So this is an event that's geared for people 55 and older. And we have Huey's House of Pancakes coming. And oh my God.
I haven't heard of them.
Be like, oh my God, they are to die for.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have protein pancakes? Low carb?
No.
No.
Not that day for you.
Gluten-free? No.
He does a great job. But the CNY Senior Housing and Info Fair, it gives people who are heading towards retirement what things they can do. Like the different programs through the arts and the libraries and, bus tours, all those types of things. In addition to that, places you can live, and for if you're in your younger years or if you're in your older years and everything in between.
Gotcha.
Now tell us about your big memory event here in the fall.
Well, I figured we could hold off and do that maybe in the next one. Just because I don't want to confuse everybody. Alzheimer's Association is having theirs coming up on the 22nd.
Okay.
So, the 22nd of what?
Of May.
And there's another event on the horizon this fall that you did last year.
And it's going to be in September, and it's going to be what we did last year.
Which was spectacular. I was there. It was amazing.
Yes, and we'll give more information about that as we get a little closer.
Yeah. So get people a little interested.
Yeah. It's going to be a wonderful event. And the Alzheimer's Association has talked to us. We talk back and forth about the different things. We're trying to help everybody in the community, all of us. We're all helping the same people.
And they're going to be on the show here in a little bit. So,
yes.
Are there any?
She's great.
Any events coming up that talk about health for, seniors, like physical activity? Because I see a lot of seniors 55 and over at the gym.
Yeah.
And that seems to be popular.
Yep. The Senior Housing and Info Fair on the 29th, on the 29th at the regional market. They'll have different programs there. They have some gyms, some boxing programs, different activities for younger and older people that they can participate in. So they'll touch on some of that health. They also have usually, some lawyers that talk about getting your stuff in order when you're younger. You can't wait, and some of those things. So
it's very important. The physical activity is so important.
It is.
Walking clubs. Do they still do the walking thing over at the Destiny? I don't know if that's a thing.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
It used to be a big deal when malls first popped up. That was, I know my father-in-law was part of that years ago.
Yeah.
Real quick, you still looking for a little help if anybody's interested?
We're always looking for good help. We have some employees that have some openings right now, but they don't necessarily always fit the openings that we have. And we have some caregivers who may not be the right match for some of the openings we have because of different types of skills that are needed.
So in that senior space, SyracuseSenior.com, Sheila Ostrom, 469-1000.
Yes.
And lots of information, and you're a great resource.
Yes. Thank you,
Sheila.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great rest of the day, hon.
All right.
All right. Coming up next, Emerson Shenandoah, the director of the Ska-nonh Center right here in Syracuse. We'll get all the details on that on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve, and you found it. Maybe you swam your way over to us because of all the rain that's been happening. It's been squishy out there.
It's been squishy, but the creeks and the
Did you go fishing at all since all this rain?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Have you noticed the higher water levels, or is it just normal?
No, I really haven't.
This is the way it used to be when we were a little younger. I mean, we've had a couple of dry springs.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's after it rains, it comes quick and it goes right back down.
Yeah, sure.
But I was fishing last week and caught something. Caught a bunch of fish, nothing special.
Okay.
And but still working on getting out more. Started golf, Tom. You know.
Oh yes, yeah, that's good.
So,
I'm sure
golfed with our friends out at Drummond's last week.
Oh, did you? You made it out there, huh?
What an amazing place.
Yeah,
you and I remember it from the day, or at least I do way back. Boy, they renovated in there. They were set up to do some big banquets and stuff.
Beautiful,
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
And we stopped and had some chicken wings. John Murphy,
the bistro.
Safe Harbor. John and I, we played golf, and no one we wouldn't get recruited for the PGA. But that course is tough. But
tell me a little bit about John's business really quickly, because we got to get to the next
Safe
guest.
Harbor Wills and Trust. Hey, they just did some workshops. I think they had like 60 people registered for it last week.
They always sell out.
And it's free, you know.
It's free.
But they're just helping people protect what they've worked hard to earn. If you haven't updated your stuff, update your stuff. If you haven't protected your stuff, protect your stuff. If you don't do it, you didn't do it. So 370-9977. And you can just ask them questions. 370-9977. You can go on to safeharborwillsandtrust.com, and they'll take care of you there too.
Excellent. All right. It's our pleasure to bring on a new guest to the show. His name is Emerson Shenandoah. He's the director of the Ska-nonh Center. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Tom.
Good to have you here. So I grew up on the borderline of Nedrow, right where Green Hills Farms is.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of friends that were up on the res, and used to go up there a lot to play lacrosse when I was younger.
You played lacrosse?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the different type of lacrosse, though, I like box lacrosse. I was very much into that.
Season started. We're having some games up there with the Red Hawks.
Yeah. And do you know the doctors? I was friends with Craig Doctor.
Yep, I know the doctors pretty well.
Big family. Yeah. And all that.
You played lacrosse?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. This is just the shocker for me.
And that's real lacrosse. This baby stuff on the field is nothing.
So back 4 or 5 years ago, didn't they have a big tournament down there, like an international lacrosse tournament or something?
Yeah. In 2016, I believe they had the World Box Lacrosse Games held on the Onondaga Nation.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. And now, are you any relation to Benny Shenandoah and they used to have the big salvage yard up there?
I think distantly.
Okay, yeah. That way I used to get all my car parts up there. Yeah, that was awesome. Anyway, so tell us a little bit about a Ska-nonh Center, what it means, what the word Ska-nonh means, and all that.
Yeah, so the Ska-nonh Center is a cultural center that talks about the Haudenosaunee people through the lens of the Onondaga Nation. And it goes through things such as our influence on Syracuse, around the United States itself, as well as who we are, what our people are, what we're about. Right. And Ska-nonh means peace. So gotcha. Ska-nonh means peace, and the great law of peace is something that we talk a lot about at the center. It's something that's you can't really talk about it, or you can't really talk about the Onondaga people if you don't talk about the great law of peace.
That's excellent. What is the Chahutni and Dakwa? What does that mean?
Chahutni and Dakwa. I believe it means the place where they bump hips. The place where they play games. The place where they play games.
Okay, yeah. And that's what that center up on outside of Nedrow is called, right?
Yeah, that's the Nation Arena, yeah.
Okay, the Nation Arena.
So what is inside that arena? I've driven by it, never been.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I've never been there. What is that?
The ice rink?
Yeah, it's the ice rink. We turn it into a box lacrosse rink in the summer. We've got some nice turf we put down. We also do events there.
Yeah.
It's large.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a big sound system in there. Yeah, nice.
Okay. I've gone by probably hundreds of times and didn't know exactly what was going on. And a lot of cars, a lot of traffic. So that's used for, it's a recreational center pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you talked a little bit about, you mentioned the name Haudenosaunee. And how does that... what is the story? What is the story behind that, and how it influenced this area?
The Great Law of Peace?
Yeah.
So a quick rundown of the story is that a long time ago, before contact with settlers, we had already been here. We'd been living here for thousands of years, and after a while, we kind of forgot our instructions, and so us, the Onondagas, the Senecas, the Oneidas, the Cayugas, the Mohawks.
Okay.
We were warring with one another. Not many people were dying a natural death, and so our Creator, he sent down this messenger to come and tell us about how to live peacefully with one another. And so he came through, and he went through all the different nations and ended in Onondaga. And right on Onondaga Lake is where we all, agreed to this great law of peace. We uprooted a great white pine, and all the members of the nations threw their weapons into a spring underneath the tree. And that was to symbolize, that we were going to, forget our warring ways with one another so that we could live peacefully.
And has that worked out throughout the years? I mean, I don't hear about wars.
Yeah. So far, yes.
Yeah. Let's hope that continues, right?
Yeah.
That's something else. So the word Onondaga, was that in play before the settlers came?
Yes. So Onondaga, it means people of the hills. And so Onondaga itself, Onondaga Ganatakwaniyoke, is the central fire. We're like I guess you could say the capital of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy.
I see. And I didn't hear you mention the Oneidas in there. Are they separate?
I should have mentioned them, yeah.
No. Oh, okay. No, that's all the same. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know.
I remember fifth grade studying
that's
history.
when you start to learn that stuff, yeah.
And I remember that, and it was interesting but confusing, right? Because it wasn't my culture. It was like, oh, what is this? And where? Wait, it's here? This actually happened here? Because so much history is somewhere else. But I found it really interesting. But so back when Tom was a kid, a long time ago, they called it the French Fort. What the heck was that about?
So that was actually Ste. Marie among the Iroquois. It's what we used to be called at the Ska-nonh Center. And it was kind of more focused on the Jesuits and their history here in Syracuse.
Okay.
But that's not really the history that we're aiming to, talk about. A lot of that history is a little bit convoluted and, not really, it wasn't really the longest stint either that they were here. They were only here for a couple of years before they left and went back up north.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So maybe what it is now represents a bigger time period in more history. Is that a fair way to put it?
I guess I would say, it represents a bigger time period. It also is a better representation of the Haudenosaunee people.
Okay. Are people allowed to visit that center? If so, when and how and what will they see?
Yeah, so we are open every Wednesday to Saturday, 10 to 4, Saturdays 11 to 4. They can come to the center and they can see different exhibits on, the fort will be there. They can have different exhibits on, who we are as a people, our creation story, our culture, a little bit about what happened during contact, after contact, and as well as, some cool artifacts and things will be there that you can look and touch at.
That's wonderful.
Okay, so you can bring the kids or maybe old guys like Tom or me.
All ages.
All ages, Tom.
Very nice. Well, we should do that and check that out. I really love the culture. It's awesome. So thank you, Emerson Shenandoah right there. And you're probably over there, right? So the people can have access to you. Say hello.
Yes, I'll be over there every day.
Great. Say hello to Emerson over there, director of the Ska-nonh Center. And thank you very much for what you do. And thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with John Kupperman. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back up to it. It's Swimming Upstream with Tom and Steve here on The Local Show. So
salmon.
Yes, salmoning it. Yeah, we haven't been up to the tailwater yet this year for the DJ company. I don't.
You got something on the horizon, or
no?
Sure. I know you don't know. I know Kelly knows, and you don't know anything.
Last year we were up at the tailwater many times, which for those of you who don't know, tailwater is right on the Salmon River right there. We are going to Rocking Horse Farms. We ought to have them back on. Keith and his wife Julie over there,
and you can fish there.
I don't know if Keith and Julie really understand who I am.
Well, they wouldn't.
I say this in a kind way.
They wouldn't be alone now.
I say it in a kind way, but they've been here, I don't know, several different times, right? And then I was out there last year, and Keith was like, wow, you're just so good at this, and you have such a beautiful setup, and you know what you're doing. It's been 40 years, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, Keith's only been in the business, maybe 10 years, they built the barn. So I'm like, yes, Keith. And of course, he listens to the show all the time.
Hi, Keith.
Right. Well, you think they do. I don't know. But then, they say things like, So, well, make sure Tom or make sure your DJ calls us to go over things. And I'm not quite sure if he knows it's me.
Yeah, but when you do that many events, they all kind of blur together.
Right, I can understand
this and that, and I can
but
get
you would
that.
think if he heard my name, he'd be like, "Oh, that's Tom. No big deal. He's a pro." You know,
there's probably more than one Tom, and probably several of them are not very good. So just cut him some slack. It's a beautiful place.
I just want to turn my car into a bridge abutment and just end it all. I can't.
Wait, you won't go over a bridge though, so it can't be a bridge abutment.
Well, that'd be on the surface. You see, I'd be underneath it. John Kupperman's here. He's more upbeat than me. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. How are you, John?
I'm fine. What a great lead-in. Jeez.
See, at least you're good.
People like him,
and that's because you got good coffee over to Smith, and you can stay jacked up and fun.
Maybe
right. That's what I need to do. Drink a couple more cups of that.
Probably so.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Avoid those abutments.
Yeah, really. So what's new in the restaurant business?
Well, the big thing is next week we've got our coffee sale.
That is big.
It is big. Where we take it's Tuesday and Wednesday, and we take $5 off per pound.
Wow! And you didn't raise the price by $5 per pound before the sale, like some places do.
I haven't changed my coffee prices in about 8 years.
That's amazing because you've got
taken all the ups and downs, just in stride.
Because coffee has gone up considerably in the grocery stores, right?
Very considerably.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Prices have gone. To me, they have gone up. Not
right.
to
and listeners probably that have heard you before know you've just started roasting coffee recently, right?
Oh yeah, just about 36 years ago.
So awesome. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yep, $5 off a pound.
$5 off. And I know that we were chatting before we started here between the sets, and you're saying, hey, buy enough to get by, but don't buy enough for 3 months because it's not that good after 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, very, very true. We encourage people, buy a modest amount, only what you're going to use in maybe a month. Mm-hmm. And we try to discourage people from buying 6 months worth, but we have people that do that
because it gets stale. People don't, realize that coffee gets stale.
After a few weeks, it gets stale.
How many types of coffee?
Almost 50 now.
Oh my gosh.
Almost 50. And we expanded some. I'm not a huge fan of it, but some people are, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. We got into a new line of flavors.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't a fan of the old flavor because it smelled good, but it didn't taste like the flavor. Right. And then it kind of left like a little bit of a waxy, a little bit. Yeah. We sampled some new flavorings and we brought in a line, and they, honest to goodness, taste like what they smell like. And there's just a clear finish. There's no waxy aftertaste.
Wonderful. Spoken like a true coffee snob. I really like that.
Yeah, okay. So that's about as bad as I get.
So these are actually pour in stuff. It's not part of the bean, or
no? We roast the coffee like we normally do.
All right,
and then we add a liquid flavoring to it. And basically shake and bake it.
Okay.
And it's coated, and then in about 2 days, that flavor soaks into the bean.
I gotcha.
And it's good.
And this
if
is
you
the
like
way,
flavors.
Yeah.
We also offer a tremendous amount of the pour in or the pump flavorings.
Yeah, yes.
A crazy amount.
Those are popular these days. Yeah.
Very, very popular, and it's almost like
and some are zero sugar. Some are zero sugar, right?
We carry almost a dozen no sugar ones.
Okay, very nice. Yeah.
And those flavors are also good for summer drinks, mixed drinks, not just coffee.
Oh, right.
So they're blending them. But almost every week somebody comes in. Do you have blah blah blah? This one.
So,
no, but I'll get it for you.
So across from Texas Roadhouse, just a reminder, not that big billboard building that says Smith's all over downtown.
Correct.
So across from Texas Roadhouse. So the flavors, anything like really goofy? I mean, is it like, peanut butter and jelly, or is it that kind of goofy stuff?
Yeah, there's, oh my gosh. My manager's going to kill me. I've forgotten the name. But it's caramel, vanilla, and rum.
Oh, wow.
And it's got a goofy name to it.
And would you drink it?
I have tried it.
Okay.
And it's good.
I mean, you have high standards. I know that in coffee.
It's very good. Mm-hmm. And it tastes like the mix of those flavors.
Now, you also have machines over there that can make the coffee, different types of things.
All sorts of brewers.
Yeah, brewers.
All sorts of different manners.
Do you have a pour-over one? Because my buddy Greg has a pour-over machine. And he made me a pour-over a couple of weeks ago that was fantastic.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything Greg
different types
doesn't have over there?
Greg always beats me in everything.
Yeah,
he has everything nicer than me.
So other products, you got like 50 million other things, and you walk in there. What's hot? It's spring, early summer. Are people thinking pizza ovens or more bakery
They are
stuff? Or what
still
are they doing?
baking.
Still baking.
Still cranking.
Okay.
Everything having to do with putting something in the oven and baking it. It just normally after Mother's Day and Easter and Passover, that sort of tapers off a bit, but very steady. Still one of the top 3 categories in the business is bakeware and baking supplies.
Are people still sharpening their 100-year-old knives, or are they buying new knives?
Both.
Okay.
Both. We are, every time we talk about it, sharpening. It's nice to see people are bringing them in wrapped now.
That's
properly.
good. You don't think it's a robbery?
I just don't want to see anybody.
This will only take a minute.
Where is he? Where is he?
Listen up, this will only take a second. It's a hormone! Is anybody...
Oh, jeez.
But no, they're doing that. And I always recommend weekdays between 9 and 2, because then we've got a full staff and we can sharpen the knives while they wait. And please don't bring them in during the coffee sale. We're going to have lines of people.
Well, or don't wait for it. Come back.
You can leave them and then come back. But yeah.
How about your uni ovens and things, the pizza ovens?
The uni ovens, because of the internet.
Yeah.
It's hard. We sell some, but we sell all the supplies that go with them.
Okay.
And the supplies that we offer are the professional ones, and they end up being far less than what you would be paying from Uni for the same thing, because Uni doesn't make the supplies.
Understand. Well, that's great. So people got to get up there, and you can also get your sternos and your, which is important for
Memorial Day,
right? Yeah. And probably the big tins,
the foil pans,
and
all the takeout containers.
I don't know the names of these.
No, you got the idea, though.
Right? Yeah.
Foiled again, Tom. Yeah. So Smith Restaurant Supply, across from Texas Roadhouse, Erie Boulevard, coffee sale Tuesday and Wednesday, and about 18 or 20,000 other things that they can walk in and
That's right.
make.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, John, and you have a great rest of the day, okay, buddy?
Thank you very much.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Sabrina Rivette. She is the director of nursing at St. Camillus Skilled Nursing Short-Term Rehab. Lou Burke stops by. The owner of Admiral Canvas Co. Kate Flannery is the executive director of the upstate New York chapters of the Alzheimer's Association. And then we'll round things out with Jim Costello, the regional manager of Bert's Bikes. So stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Sabrina Rivette. She's the director of nursing at St. Camillus Skilled Nursing Short-Term Rehab. And then Lou Burke is the owner of Admiral Canvas Company. Kate Flannery stops by. She's the executive director of the upstate New York chapters of the Alzheimer's Association. And then we'll round things out with Jim Costello, who is the regional manager of Bert's Bikes. Right now, welcoming in hour number 2 with Sabrina Rivette, director of nursing at St. Camillus Skilled Nursing Short-Term Rehab. That's a big title.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Are you from Syracuse?
Yeah, grew up here.
Grew up here? Where'd you grow up?
Cicero. I went to Cicero North Syracuse High School.
No kidding. That's where Steve went, but it was when they were just one horse and one
it was different
cottage.
Yeah.
In 1980 when I graduated a little while ago.
Yeah. So, you went there. That's great.
Yeah.
And then that's where you grew up in the Cicero area.
Yes.
Yeah, I live up there now. It's been 30 years I've been up there. So it's kind of a long time now.
Yeah. I actually live out in Camillus area now.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you went west.
Yep.
Boy, that's a trek. When the wife and I say we're going to go to Camillus, it's like, all right, gear up. It's going to take us half a day.
You know why?
Get the horses together.
The lake is in the way.
Yeah.
If the lake wasn't in the way, it'd be a straight. You got to go right either way.
And there's always traffic. It's just the traffic is crazy.
It really is terrible. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, anyway, so what got you into nursing? Did you go to school for nursing right out of high school? Or
No, I took a roundabout path. I started as a certified nursing assistant, actually. Started as an aide. I knew I wanted to be in the nursing field. I really enjoy people. I like the aspect of helping people. Yeah. And then I transitioned to a licensed practical nurse and then eventually moved on from that to a registered nurse. So really worked my way up from the bottom.
How much schooling is that? Is that like having a master's degree?
No, not necessarily. So CNA is a certification, licensed practical nurses as well. And then registered nurse is, you can do an associate's degree, you can do a bachelor's degree, and you can keep going, master's, PhD.
Wow. So what is why did you settle at St. Camillus?
I went back into the long-term care field because as a CNA, I started in long-term care.
I see.
And then left, did my time in the hospital, did some home care. And the long-term care field really called me back. I really liked working with the elderly population. Yeah. And St. Camillus, when I started there, I actually started as an assistant nurse manager. Gotcha. Became the nurse manager. Then I became the assistant director of nursing and now the director. I've been there 6 years. So it really is a wonderful place.
So you're very powerful.
Yeah.
It really seems to me, and I'm going to offend a lot of doctors out there, it seems like the nurses do all the work.
Yeah.
It's really.
I'd like to say we're the backbone of the medical field. Absolutely.
No, I totally agree with you. And I've spent a little time in the hospitals.
Yes, you did. Yeah, Steve had unfortunate accidents.
So I understand that, and it really is the nurses. And several years ago, my dad did some rehab at St. Camillus, and he was always. Dad just loved everybody, but I would go see him in the rehab room, and he was doing things, and it was a good experience.
Well, explain that structure to me. Who needs the rehab? Is it when you have a shoulder surgery or a knee surgery or a hip surgery?
So it's really all kinds of things. Okay. I think a while ago that was what you traditionally saw, people recovering from surgeries for rehab, but now it's all kinds of things. It might be an elderly patient that had a bout with pneumonia and it's weakened them. Okay. It could be a patient overcoming COVID. So there's a lot of different things that lead them in to that need rehab.
The rehab there is just inpatient?
It is, yes, it is now. Yep.
Okay. And why is St. Camillus so special?
I think it's different. We're a non-for-profit. That makes it different in a sense. From the absolute top to the bottom, I really do think that it's led with integrity. You know, decisions are really made focusing on the residents and what's best for them. And the staff are amazing there. They work well. I can wholeheartedly say that the staff that are there really care about the residents.
Yeah. And that's a big deal.
It really is.
Because in experiences we've had and people we've met over the years, you can't always say that about everywhere. And it's not like you're going to say bad things about it, but you seem pretty confident. And when you even said that, you smiled. Radio listeners could hear her smile.
Where is it located?
It is 813 Fay Road in Syracuse.
I don't know numbers, but where's it near?
What's it near? Okay, you know Bishop Ludden High School?
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay.
It's like tucked right behind that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin worked there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a special needs guy, but unfortunately he just passed away. My
I'm sorry.
cousin Adam. Did you know Adam Murator?
I didn't know. No, yeah. But we do employ a couple special needs people.
Yeah, and he loved it there and loved the patients. He used to wheel them around and all that.
Oh my goodness.
It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, how nurses are celebrated. Like, is this a special month for nurses?
It is. Okay. It is. Well, we try to do different things all the time through the month. We'll do different snacks, different treats. This week, we're actually doing some things with, it incorporates the residents too. So we're doing like different eras of music.
Oh, nice.
And all the different units are dressing up and decorating their units. So today, I think, is the 70s. So everybody's walking around in bell bottoms and hair braided and everything. And
you'll notice Steve still dresses that way.
The clothes still fit. So I have a question. Do you have an organ?
Do I have an organ?
An organ, a player organ.
Well, they got lots of organs. There's livers and kidneys.
Because I know a lady, my mom, who would love to volunteer and play the organ.
We do take volunteers.
Okay, she plays at the airport. If you ever go fly to the airport, that's my mom. She's 90 and she's more mobile than Tom. And but she would love to volunteer. So you do take volunteers?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah. So things like that, because she loves people and she loves to use her gift and things like that.
Yeah.
Very good. She can't bench press as much as me. I know that for sure.
Are you looking for more nurses or do you have more than you need?
Always. Everywhere. We always need nurses. LPNs, CNAs, always. Yes.
Do you find that people are entering the profession?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would say yes, absolutely. Yeah, there's always new people coming in.
Right.
Yeah. The CNAs are a little tougher. There's not as many classes in the areas right now, which is sad. We need them.
Yeah. And as far as working in geriatrics, is it just geriatrics there, or do you take care of anything else?
We do have some other types of patients there. We have a brain injury unit, which is 20 beds, which is sometimes it could be a stroke patient, traumatic brain injury from like a motor vehicle accident, an anoxic brain injury.
That's why I had exactly what you just described a bunch of years ago, and was in rehab for a while and stored for another day. But so I understand that.
Yeah, a lot of different ages on that unit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Do you collaborate with hospitals?
Yes, we do. We actually work with Upstate's group. They're some of our PM&R doctors that help with our rehab unit.
What's PM&R?
You know what? I don't exactly know what the abbreviation stands for.
It's the one.
I really don't.
It's people looking for care and getting rehab. That's what it is. Yes. I know that. So give me one reason. Why would a nurse want to work out there versus all the options they have?
Yeah, there are a lot of options. Well, I think St. Camillus is a great place to work in the sense that we really are a community. We work well together. We're a family. It's not only that, but the geriatric population, it's so needed. This is their home, and we get to create that home-like environment for them and give them what they need for their last few years of their life.
Right. So awesome. So St. Camillus, so it's st-camillus.org.
Yes.
Or I'm imagining search St. Camillus, it'll show up on the internet. 488-2951. If people want to call, they can talk about that. But you guys have a great reputation in the community, and it sounds like it's a great place to work too.
It really is, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sabrina. That's Sabrina Rivette right there. She's the director of nursing at St. Camillus, skilled nursing, short-term rehab. So thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. Lou Burke's going to come up next, and we're going to talk with him about his business, which is Admiral Canvas Company, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, folks, we're back. Thank you for joining Tom and Steve, or at least joining Steve. I'm only half here. I'm mezza mort, as we say in Italian.
Does that mean allergies are killing me? What does that mean?
1 foot in the grave.
You've been quite the snuffy guy here the last few weeks.
Yeah, the allergies are just nuts out there. Beautiful. Love the flowers. Love this time of year. I don't know what it's doing to me, though. I don't know.
Is it specific to stuff in your yard, or is it just like everywhere?
No, it just seems like everywhere. Yeah, it's been tough. So you wanted to talk about Charlie a little bit?
I just wanted to let people know Charlie Mattress Makers on Bridge Street is having a Memorial Day sale for the next couple weeks. If you're going to get a mattress, don't go anywhere else. You're buying it from the factory with Charlie, and they're knocking another 10% off already. So if you want to pay 3 times more, go to one of the people that will give you a rocket ship if you buy a mattress or something. If you want a mattress and you want a good price and a well-made company that's been doing it, 100 years, go over to Mattress Makers. They got a sale. Say, hey, I heard you got a sale. And so even better than normal, Bridge Street behind Henry Wilson Jewelers. And they do have that little outlet store right across from Chick-fil-A.
Yes,
say Mattress Makers. But if you don't buy from Charlie, you paid way too much.
There you go. All right. It's our pleasure to bring back on the show Lou Burke. He is the owner of Admiral Canvas Company. How are you there, Lou?
Fantastic. How are yourself?
Well, I'm hanging right in there, buddy. Hanging right in there. So tell people about what you do. What is your business when we talk about canvases?
Yeah, I make boat canvas. I do some medical stuff.
When you say you do medical stuff,
you're a surgeon?
You sell drugs, or what do you do?
Don't sell drugs. I'm definitely not a surgeon.
Okay.
What I do is kind of reupholster all the medical beds and stuff like that in the off season.
Yeah. Some of that can be very uncomfortable, but then some of it can be very comfortable. Like, do you use any leather, or is it just all
I try to buy local,
and
I kind of get some foam from Albany Supply.
Yeah.
And I buy some vinyls from a company called United Pacific Hide and Leather.
Because some of the stuff that I've sat on, especially like in chiropractor's office or massage beds. They have a very soft and supple.
Yes, an ultra leather.
Is that what that's called?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Does it last? I mean, how long does it last before it needs you to come in and fix it?
Well, it's treated, so it lasts a pretty long time. You know, the foam kind of deteriorates after a period of time. You can see as they get more uncomfortable. Right. You know what I mean?
But like a dental chair, which is a nightmare and a horror story for me because those things scare me. Yeah. How long does one of those last?
Well, they try to. These manufacturers try to make them last 6 years for the dentist.
Okay, and that's somebody sitting in it like all the time.
Yeah, commercially. You know, where you're commercial, a lot of people.
Okay. So how is that different than fixing boat
boat stuff is different. It's like what started as my hobby, and everybody has to have the canvas.
Yeah. So what's the process of if someone has cushions that are ripped or something? What's the process? How does someone get their problem solved?
They go about calling me at 315-885-5568 at Admiral Canvas Company, and we schedule it, and we come in and fill out a work order, and we get it done for you.
Yeah, but like
simple.
It sounds like it's going to be crazy expensive.
It's not that bad. Okay. I mean, what we think is expensive, everything out there is expensive right now.
Yeah, right.
You know, and it's what is it is what it is.
So, who's your competition?
It's really not competitive. I mean, there's only a few companies in the area that do what we do.
Yeah,
you know, and they're all good guys. Everybody but you only can fit so many people in a window of what we have.
Right.
We have 11 weeks, you know, and that's it for the canvas business.
But you got a building.
Yeah, I got a beautiful location at 400 Brown Ave.
Okay,
it's nice.
Nobody knows where 400 Brown Ave is.
I do. It's right off Factory.
I do. It's over by Factory Ave.
See?
I do actually.
What's it near?
Across the street from Tom's Performance.
Oh, of course.
And across the street from Patricia Electric.
Yeah. Okay,
that makes sense. It's a perfect little neighborhood back there.
Yeah, nice.
There's a lot of nice companies, a lot of nice people.
So you can make everything from a bimini cover to
a full enclosure,
or on a boat.
Yeah, or a cockpit cover, bow cover that everybody's going to need.
Or if somebody had a pop-up camper and
no campers. I can't do everything. I want to keep right to the boats. And
YouTube listeners, he just like made it. He's like, no campers. I can feel it. Did you get bit by a camper as a kid?
Do you know how many phone calls I get from campers?
Yeah,
and if somebody wanted to start a business and do that, start fixing campers, they should do that.
See, because that's not a different structure and all that kind of stuff.
Different stuff. Yeah,
you'd have to gear up for that,
right? And you got so many boat supplies you got to carry. For the boaters,
of course.
And then you got supplies you got to carry for the medical stuff and the dental stuff, and that's where it gets expensive. Where you're holding all the stuff.
Would you put the seats if there was a ripped seat in a diner? Would you take care of that?
Yes,
too?
I take care of those too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just did a new. One of the restaurants, an Arabic restaurant, opened up in Manlius. They did a big wall, a whole booth that covered 18 foot of wall.
Wow.
And what a nice way they decorated that place. It's right there by the ice cream parlor.
And he's just going to love that kind of food.
Yeah, he's a real good guy.
Yeah.
Real nice people.
Great.
And the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. We ought to get like diner stools in here to sit on and have them do it. The big chrome ones with a nice big red seat. You can come in and do it.
It seems like I always find the coil at the old diners.
Yeah.
You sit down and maybe the leather, whatever, the leather is fine, but there always seems to be something pointed.
Yep, always something pointed, a spring or something. Get you.
So just so people know, not only can he do the tops of the boat, the canvas covers and stuff like that, he can also do the seats. So if you have need seat cushion repair and all that, you can do all that.
Right, and I'm running a special. I want to see how many.
Oh, are you?
I want to see how many fans you guys really
We
have.
don't.
Well, fans with boats.
I want to see the fans with the boats, with Steve with the fishing. So I'm going to give everybody 10% off in the month of June for a cockpit cover, bow cover. And I'm going to start keeping track of how many listeners
you let me know how many we
get.
get.
A listener, you and Steve, and let's see how many fans.
So what's a cryptic cockpit? What did you say?
A cockpit cover and a bow cover.
Okay, what's a cockpit cover?
A cockpit cover is the top of your windshield back to your stern of your boat that snaps on.
Okay, I know what
that you wrestle with.
Yes,
and extensions because you're
I
short.
hate that thing.
I understand because there's nothing at the end of the day of boating. Nobody wants to put their canvas on their boat.
Right.
It's
so
like a chore.
Yes.
And you can imagine when you putting it on once, when I'm putting it on 4 or 5 times to get fittings.
And then when it shrinks a little bit, then you can't get to the snaps.
Right. But if it's always snapped, it won't shrink.
I see.
So if you leave that snap that's not snapped, it's eventually going to
shrink up.
Right. Yeah. And it's like huge. My last week here is I've done 2 pontoon boat covers.
Yeah.
And it's 24, 25 yards of fabric.
Wow.
And I'm getting older, so I hired 2 young men to work for me that are doing great.
What are they doing? Tell me about your new hires.
Oh, okay. I hired Brandon and Jacob Gunna. Brandon Burke is they're both just learning, and they've been with me for a while, and they've learned so much, and I'm so proud of both kids.
And you don't have to do the painful stuff, maybe a little less?
No, because the other day, we were doing a doctor's boat out of Dr. Farrell out of Skinny Atlas. And I'm the one inside the gunnel up in the hole. And Tracy came in and she goes, "Why is the old man in there when the young guys are there?" So I'm getting older. We're all getting older.
Yeah.
But I still dive in. I just can't have the young guys outdo me.
You're smart. So someone has a boat that needs something addressed in the canvas and the seats and things. Admiral Boat Canvas Co.com.
It's Admiral Canvas Co.com.
Okay, and it's if you want to call and talk to Lou, he'll tell you where you're at here. 885-5568, 885-5568.
And remember, the month of June, the 10% off, that could be a big number.
That could be a big number.
A couple $100 here or there. It helps everybody, especially in this economy.
Thank you, Lou.
All right. Thanks, Lou. Have a great rest of the day. Kate Flannery's up next. She's the executive director of the upstate New York chapters of the Alzheimer's Association. Stick around for that conversation on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Local Show. What a wonderful way to spend your Saturday and Sunday with Tom and Steve on The Local Show, learning about new local businesses and civic organizations, things like that. We bring them all on the show and get to know people who are doing business around our community. One such organization is the Alzheimer's Association, and that's Kate Flannery is a new director, sort of, right? You've been here for how long?
8 months now.
8 months, yeah.
I'm getting there.
Under a year. Kate Flannery, executive director of the upstate New York chapters of the Alzheimer's Association. You can see them online at alz.org, and then you have to put a slash in there and say Central New York, right?
Correct.
You know why they do it that way? Is because nobody can spell Alzheimer's.
That is true.
Yeah. Just saying.
That is tough.
I can now, but I couldn't prior to this. That's right.
So you're an executive director now. What did you do before that?
Well, I identify as a social worker. I've been a social worker for a very long time. Okay. I've had a very blessed career. I've worked with different populations, everyone from sexual assault and domestic violence work for women and children. I also came previously from breast cancer work, Susan G. Komen in the Race for the Cure. And then prior, I was at Francis House, which is very close to my heart. It's a social hospice home for people at end of life, which provides amazing services. So.
You have to have a big heart and a lot of patience.
I feel quite blessed to be able to work with people around really vulnerable, meaningful times in their lives to try and relieve some suffering and try and provide some supports. And I can't imagine selling widgets or doing anything else. I've always known, my mom will tell you, that's just who I am since I was young.
We have some customers that sell widgets, so please don't pick on those people.
I know.
How do you keep yourself upbeat in your own life then?
I mean, obviously mental health. So I was trained in mental health as a therapist. So I do practice a fair amount of self-care. Faith helps, quite candidly. I have a strong sense of faith. I try to spend some time in nature. And you know, part of it is there are pockets of hope and good people everywhere. You just have to make sure that you put that into your consideration, not just the news, right?
Yeah,
not just
the
daily news, which can be quite depressing.
Gosh, she's an upbeat lady. That's wonderful.
She's a lot like you, Tom.
No, not at all. I would be the anti that. So, but anyway, so Steve, ask a question.
I'm going to ask a question. Why does the Alzheimer's Association exist?
Well, very much so. So I think there are a lot of people suffering. Almost 7 million people in the United States have Alzheimer's. And so there are individuals who are suffering with this brain disease. Alzheimer's is under the umbrella of dementia. So think of dementia as the umbrella. Alzheimer's is 60% of dementia. And then there are 3 other types and some smaller ones. Other than that, you'll hear about frontal lobe or, vascular, different types. But so Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. It's a form of brain disease. It is not natural aging, right? We all have some aging and some normal cognitive decline.
Walking up the hall to go to get something from Lori or the copy and then getting into her office and going, let me think. I'm here for a reason. And then I retrack and I figure out what it was. That's normal for someone 61 years old?
That's right. There's normal cognitive decline. Alzheimer's is a disease where the brain, literally, there's a disease in the brain cells and it's dying over time. And you lose your roadmap. I describe it as your memories, there's no room for extra memories, for new memories. That's why they'll remember someone who's struggling with the disease will remember something from, 40 years ago, but they can't necessarily tell you what they had for breakfast. Right. And they lose their roadmap. So they'll look at a fork and not necessarily know what it's for. Yeah. Right. So that's very different than, word retrieval problems that we have as we normally age, or forgetting what I'm in the room for, or where did I put my keys? Those are just normal aspects of aging.
I feel better.
Okay. You should. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you help families that have family members that are experiencing this?
Absolutely. So we have a variety of services in Central New York. At the office, we have over 20 individuals who are basically outreach. I call them social workers. They're there to help provide people with services. They provide caregiver services through education, through support, through connecting people to various services, whether that's respite or connecting them with what they need to do legally or financially to protect and support their loved one. And also just the psychosocial issues of caregiving is the hardest job in the world. You are watching someone you love decline.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking.
And it's exhausting. Is that fair?
And it is incredibly exhausting. I mean, I always say sometimes when you're caregiving for young children, just when you can't stand another diaper change, they're potty trained. Just when the whining is like, they kind of go to the next step and find their words, right? So it's caregiving when you're watching for young children and they're advancing and evolving and improving. That's hard, but it has all those celebratory moments. When you're caregiving for someone who is declining over time, there are blessings in there of relationship, but you are still, it's painful. It's excruciating to watch someone lose their skills or their, the things that make them lots of times.
And if they're a spouse, they're probably not a young person to begin with.
Correct.
So there's already some pain.
Exactly. They end up having their own health issues. One of the things we know for a fact is that caregivers who are providing care for someone with Alzheimer's, their own health declines.
Yeah.
Because physically it's so taxing.
I mean, my dad had dementia, but not Alzheimer's. And as he aged, and mom was his primary caretaker. And that was a lot.
It can be a lot.
And it was pretty exhausting. But
it's exhausting physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Like I said, so she lost her partner, right? Over time. She was losing this person who I'm sure was, more than her equal and, someone that she had navigated life with. And all of a sudden she's watching that person slowly decline and it's excruciating.
So people can contact the organization and get questions answered?
100%. First of all, we have a 24-hour hotline just because I do find that caregivers and people newly diagnosed can feel very overwhelmed and in crisis and alone. So there's a 24-hour hotline. It's on our website, but it's also 1-800-272-3900.
So there's someone, a real person, not a chatbot, that someone could say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this.
Exactly.
I can't get them out of the shower.
Correct.
I don't know.
I'm worried about their safety.
And they can have a real conversation.
A mastered level social worker will answer that call. We'll support them through that call, and also then connect them to local chapter supports that we provide. Right. So. You just need to reach out to us either locally or the 800 number at 24 hours a day, and then we can find out what it is you need. We'll probably bring you in for a care consult, and then try to, personalize.
Is there going to be a cure to the disease?
Absolutely.
Now, you're saying that because it's on your job description?
No.
So tell me, give me some hope. Speak some things.
I wouldn't have said that a year and a half ago. What is happening in the last year and a half in this era of treatment, for the first time, we have treatment, we have drugs approved and 200 in the pipeline that will slow the progression of the disease. We are figuring out new diagnostic tools so that people can be properly diagnosed early on and then slow that progression. And it's so closely as a disease tied to Parkinson's and MS and other diseases. As research comes in for each of those, it's going to support the process and I think there'll be multiple cures, not a cure, but multiple cures and multiple tools. You didn't,
you weren't faking that. You got all energized and excited, and I could see that there's something on the horizon that you can see and feel. So if people have questions, the 800 and the 24-hour number, 800-272-3900. The Syracuse Alzheimer's Association, go online, alzheimers.org/New York.
Yes.
You can find it easy enough. People can have questions, and I'm sure you probably take donations. Is that fair?
Absolutely. We take donations to do our work. All our services are free. So when you call and ask for care consultant support, education and training, all free.
Awesome.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Kate Flannery, right there. And you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you so much. You guys are the best.
Awesome. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with Jim Costello. He's the regional manager of Bert's Bikes right here on The Local Show, 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Local Show. For those of you keeping up with things, you've found the last bastion of great talk radio, or just listening to Steve flap his gums.
Oh, Tom. The last bastion.
Yeah, very nice. Hey, we bought some bird seed at $5,000 a gallon.
The last bastion of bird seed?
Yeah. Wow, that bird seed's expensive to just go through really quickly.
You go with because, you get the sunflower seeds, and you get the cardinals and the blue jays and everything. And if you get the not so fancy stuff, all you get is the birds that are kind of lame.
Yeah, and isn't it funny? The more variety of birds that you attract, the more expensive the feed is,
and the more poop on your deck.
Oh golly!
Do you have a feeder, or
a couple of different feeders? Yeah,
like stuck to the windows or outside?
No, they're outside. And we tried to get the this year we retooled and got the supposed squirrel-free feeders.
Fun to watch, anyway.
Those squirrels get in there, man. And so we'll see what happens if we get the pretty birds. We already got a couple of beautiful cardinals.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my wife likes to feel that it's our moms because we both lost our moms.
Cardinals are beautiful.
It's like, no, I don't think they're mom. But they're a pretty bird. I don't want to tell Kelly that. So anyway, we've got a new guest to the show. It's Jim Costello. He's the regional manager of Bert's Bikes. How are you there, Jim?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is there a Bert for Bert's Bikes?
Is there a real Bert? There is actually 3 Berts.
Oh, really?
There's older Bert, middle Bert, and younger Bert.
No kidding. And you've met them?
Yeah, they're actually here now and working hard.
No kidding.
So you yell Bert and the 3 heads swirl around?
You got it.
Are you from Syracuse?
I am not. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Okay, so why are you up here?
Well, we're opening our 10th location here in Syracuse. So I'm up here. We're going to be open up this coming Monday, the 20th.
Really?
Yeah,
how long have you been working here?
We've been here in Syracuse for the last 3 weeks, getting the store ready.
Yeah.
And then for me, I've been in the bike business now for over 30 years.
Wow.
Where's the new store?
The new store is at 3196 East Erie Boulevard in DeWitt.
Do you know any landmarks that are around that? Because we don't know numbers.
I think it's right next to the Sonic there. Across the street from McDonald's. It used to be Pet Supply Plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. So you've been in the bike business for 30 years. What got you there?
Sure. I started racing as a kid, really fell in love with bikes and traveled the world with my bike for a while.
Kidding.
Sure, absolutely.
So you were like like a Lance Armstrong
thing?
No,
not racing, but I was a tour guide there. But, I raced here in North America and South America and the Caribbean and stuff like that.
Wow.
Tom wants to know what's the worst time you fell off and hurt yourself?
I crashed in a field sprint at about 45 miles an hour.
Oh, no!
Yeah, sure.
That's not the chicken feed right there.
It's going to make a mark.
Yeah, usually you slide, but you're going so fast you roll over, so you get both sides.
Oh,
like a steak, both sides are.
You got it.
So you're really into it for the athletics.
Sure, I won $80 and I spent it all on bandages, I think.
So who goes to Bert's?
We're really more of a family style bike store.
You can get closer to the bike.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're really more of a family style bike store.
Oh, yeah.
We specialize in electric bikes, and then bikes for the whole family, kids, trailers, all sorts of stuff. As a company, we sell around 15,000 bikes a year.
That's wonderful. Now, tell me this. Since you're into this for athletics and you look like a pretty in shape person, how do you feel about the electric bikes? Is that like almost saying to people, be lazy?
It is the absolute opposite of that.
Really? Tell us why.
The first thing is, it gets a lot of people out that normally wouldn't be outside riding.
Like a Steve.
Like a Steve,
That would be me.
Sure. So, it has a whole different demographic. People use them for transportation, so we sell a tremendous amount for people that do food delivery, like Uber Eats, and Grubhub, and those things. And then, ultimately, most of the nicer ones, you still have to pedal. So you're getting the same amount of exercise. You're just going faster. You're seeing more things.
Right.
So, it really encourages more people to be out on the road.
So it's not like back in the day, you remember the mopeds, Tom?
Yes,
30, 40
I do.
years? You can pedal it. We only pedaled it to start it because pedaling it was, you didn't go anywhere when you pedaled it. But this is like a pure pedal bike that gives you an electric boost. And then you're up a hill. So you kind of mix it. Is that fair?
Yep, absolutely. It has, they all have different assist levels. So you can select the assist level that's appropriate. You can change them, constantly. Some of the bikes do have a throttle. So if you're really tired, you can hold the throttle down and get up the hill, things like that.
Right.
It depends on what your goals are and what you're looking for. But really, over the last few years, they've taken off tremendously.
Yeah. Could you use them as a daily driver?
Sure. Lots of people, we sell a brand direct from Europe. It's the only brand that we sell that the bikes aren't made in Asia, called Gazelle. And they're made in the Netherlands. And they're total car replacement bikes.
Okay, so do you have the regular old, hey, it's time to get a 10-speed bike because I'm 14 on it. Do you sell that kind of stuff?
Sure, of course. Our adult bikes started around $439, go up from there. E-bikes start at $1,000. And we have a huge selection of bikes, and we share inventory between our 10 stores. So we can get you something pretty quick.
I just turned 60 a month ago or so, and I've been emasculated completely, just so we're clear. I go to the gym and I pretend to try and, live a life and everything. It's apparent that I'm not going to get into a muscle car or anything. What's the fastest bike that you have? Maybe I could get into a bicycle.
Well, it all comes down to you. So, as far as e-bikes go, the speeds that they attain go up to 28 miles an hour.
That's it?
That's it. But that's pretty fast for a bike.
Golly.
Being in shape is a lifelong commitment a little bit, so you got to get started somewhere.
I was hoping you were going to say, well, I got a 60 mile an hour one for you.
So can you use an e-bike on a trail where bikes go, or are they like, oh, that's electric, there's some Karen going to attack me and tell me I can't take it there?
It really depends on the municipality you're in, but the state is extremely pro e-bike. So this Empire State Trail that goes across the state, that's totally designed for e-bikes. They really want people using them. So yes, so almost everywhere you can ride an e-bike.
Wow. So why the birth of the bike shop? It seems like, wow, it just seems surprising with everything else. How did that happen?
Well,
yeah, I was going to say, how do you compete with the big box stores?
It's pretty easy. There was obviously a bike boom in the 70s, and then we kind of recreated that during the pandemic the last couple of years. So biking is very popular, and it has many purposes. People use it for transportation. They use it to make small trips to the grocery store and save on gas. So cycling is a lot of fun, and it's one of those things that really doesn't lend itself to being purchased online. Buying a bike requires some assembly and some understanding with how things work. So people really haven't embraced buying a bicycle online, and they realize when they do, they encounter all of these problems. So We have 4 stores in the Buffalo market. We have 3 in Rochester. This is going to be our 2nd store in the Syracuse area. We opened up in Clay last year in the north.
And where are you in Clay?
We're in the plaza where Fleet Feet is.
Okay, across from Great Nothing Mall there, Tom.
Yep.
Yes.
And then we opened a store up in Erie, PA as well. And it's been doing great. But, we're still a locally owned family business. The Berts are involved in everything.
So if you want to talk bikes, go to Bert's.
Absolutely.
Route 31 across from Great Northern Mall. Yep. And then out Erie Boulevard, kind of across from McDonald's over in that. That's like Bridge Street over there.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
You got it. All right. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, that's going to wrap things up. God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a family member or a friend. It'll keep your mind and body healthy. Take a bike ride. How's that? And then the local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.